Hello, and welcome to the Reparations program at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. If you are a futures or options customer or a leverage contract customer and you have a dispute with your broker or brokerage firm that you can't resolve, you may be able to file a complaint with the CFTC's Reparations program. The Reparations program offers you a number of benefits. First, your complaint, if it meets the filing requirements, will be decided by a CFTC judgment officer who specializes in commodity law. Second, the cost of and time involved in litigating your complaint may be less than in other forums. Lastly, while CFTC staff cannot represent you in the case or offer you legal advice, Office of Proceeding staff is available to assist you with filing procedures, which may be helpful if you are not represented by an attorney. Before filing a reparations claim, you should meet the following guidelines. 1. Your complaint must name an individual or firm who is registered with the National Futures Association at the time of the alleged wrongdoing or at the time the complaint is filed. You can find registration information in the NFA Basic System at nfa.futures.org. 2. You must be able to describe how your broker or brokerage firm violated the Commodity Exchange Act or CFTC rules and how that violation resulted in your losses. 3. You should file your complaint within 2 years of the date the violation occurred or within 2 years of the date you should have known of the violation. And 4. You can't be involved in another arbitration forum or civil court action to resolve the same claim, and the individuals or firms you name cannot be the subject of a bankruptcy or receivership proceeding. Your case begins when you file the CFTC reparations complaint form and the filing fees are received. The form is available on our website, or you can request a form by calling 202-418-5506. Once you complete your entire complaint form, your matter is forwarded to the respondents to determine if your complaint is submitted correctly. We will be going through each section of the form in this video. To access the form, simply go to www.cftc.gov. Go down to File a Tip or Complaint along the right-hand side of the screen and click the button to learn more. This will bring you to another screen entitled File a Tip or Complaint. At the bottom of this screen, you should see the Reparations program listed. To access the form, simply click on File a Reparations Complaint, and this will bring up the form. In Part 1 of the complaint, you must provide your personal information, including your name, address, telephone numbers, and email addresses. It is important to make sure that the information contained in this section is complete and accurate, because this office will use this information to contact you. As the case progresses, the respondent, the person or firm you named in your complaint, may also use the information in this section to contact you. If your complaint form is not complete, your case will be delayed while the CFTC complaint specialist works with you to fix any deficiencies. In Part 2 of the complaint, you must provide information about the broker or brokerage firm with whom you have a dispute. There are spaces to provide information for 3 respondents, but if you need more space, simply attach an additional sheet. You should provide the name, address, telephone numbers, and email addresses of each respondent. While you may not have every piece of information asked for in Part 2, you should provide enough information so this office can identify and contact the correct respondent. There is also a yes or no question in Section 2 regarding the respondent's registration status. If the respondent was registered at the time of the alleged violation, check yes. If they were not, check no. Please answer this question for each respondent. To check on a respondent's registration status, simply go to www.nfa.futures.org, click on the Broker/Firm Information section, and you can search by NFA ID number, firm name, pool name, and individual name. Part 3 asks you to list specific portions of the Commodity Exchange Act rules or regulations you believe the respondent violated. If you do not know the specific portion of the Commodity Exchange Act, you should list the type of violation that you believe occurred. Common violations include fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, unauthorized trading, misappropriation, churning, wrongful liquidation, failure to supervise, and non-disclosure. Part 4 may be the most important section of the form. In this section, you get to tell your side of the story and explain why you are filing a complaint. Your description should be as specific as possible so the judgment officer has the information he or she needs to understand your dispute. Names, dates, and facts are essential to your story, and you should explain not only what the respondent did, but how you were injured by their actions. You should type or write the description of your complaint on a separate sheet of paper. If you have any documents to support your claims, attach them to the complaint. For example, account opening documents, account statements, and promotional literature are all important pieces of information that should be included with your complaint if you have them. In Part 5, you must list the damages you are claiming and how you calculated your damages. Just listing the amount of money you are seeking is insufficient. To the best of your ability, support your claim for damages with numerical figures and evidence that may include, but is not limited to, account statements, deposits, withdrawals, a fee schedule, or trading records. Part 6 asks if you have ever brought another action based on the same set of facts in an arbitration forum or civil court. If you have, check yes. If you haven't, check no. Filing an NFA arbitration case or suing your broker in small claims court are examples of actions that would require you to check yes in Part 6. If you do check yes in Part 6, Part 7 asks if the case you already filed has been decided. If it has, you should check yes. If it hasn't, check no. If yes, please provide the complaint and disposition of the action. In Part 8 of the form, if you are aware that any of the respondents you named are the subject of an ongoing receivership or bankruptcy, you should check yes. If they are not, check no. Before filing a complaint, you must choose which of the 3 types of reparations proceedings you wish to begin. You can choose from the voluntary procedure, available for claims of any amount, the summary procedure for claims of $30,000 and less, or the formal procedure for claims greater than $30,000. You can select the voluntary procedure for a claim of any amount, but the individuals or firms you name must also agree to use the voluntary procedure. It is typically the quickest proceeding since it does not involve a hearing or allow for appeals. A judgment officer decides voluntary cases solely on the basis of written submissions and exhibits provided by the parties. The fee for this procedure is $50. If your claim is for $30,000 or less in damages, and you don't choose the voluntary procedure, you must select the summary procedure. In a summary procedure, you submit your evidence in writing, and the judgment officer may, if needed, hold an oral hearing by telephone. You can appeal the decision to the Commission and ultimately to the U.S. Court of Appeals. The fee for this procedure is $125. Please note that there is an additional fee for appeals. If your claim is for more than $30,000 in damages and you do not select the voluntary procedure, you must select the formal procedure. In a formal procedure, you must submit your evidence in writing, and the judgment officer may, if needed, hold an in-person hearing in a location that is, to the extent possible, convenient to all parties. You can appeal the decision to the Commission and ultimately to the U.S. Court of Appeals. The fee for this procedure is $250. Please note there is an additional fee for appeals. After you have filled out the complaint form completely, you must sign your complaint. If there is more than one complainant, each of you must sign. Before submitting your complaint form, you must enclose a check or money order made payable to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission for the full amount of the procedure you have chosen. If you are not a citizen of the United States, you may need to file a bond or waiver of bond before we can accept your complaint. You should send your form, description of complaint, any documentation you have to support your claim and damage calculations, and the appropriate filing fee by mail to Proceedings Clerk, Office of Proceedings, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, 3 Lafayette Center, 1155 21st Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20581. Once we receive your complaint, the complaint specialist will review it to determine whether it meets the criteria for a valid claim. If it meets the claim requirements, the complaint specialist will send a copy of your complaint to the individuals and firms you named as respondents and will notify you that she has done so. If your complaint does not meet the claim requirements, the complaint specialist will contact you to discuss the deficiencies in your filing. After the complaint specialist reviews the respondent's answer, he or she will generally forward your case to the proceedings clerk for assignment to a judgment officer. If you have any additional questions after watching this video or while completing your reparations complaint, please feel free to email the Office of Proceedings staff at proceedings@cftc.gov or call us at 202-418-5506. Thank you for watching today's video. Links to the Reparations Complaint Form, the CFTC Reparations website, and NFA's basic search system are listed in the Show More section of this video.